more so-called little pyramids out there with a few notable ones, and then the Sphinx being nothing more than a head on a platter again. A few years later, things are changing. 1615 rolls around. You want to go ahead and you have a better idea. You decide, okay, we're going to do this motif. Well, hold the phone. Didn't work out well. 1653 rolls around. You have this understanding. Now look very closely at this. Do you understand that that's Abel? That's the head of Abel, the head of the righteous on a platter. Then do you see that Nord, or the north, is actually pointing what you would consider to be south, or flipped on its head, the hanging man, the anguished righteous man? Then that is then the idea of Abel calling out to have his, to be avenged from having Cain whacking him on the head, right? That's the origin. That is then the idea of the good shepherd. So then 1665, you then see that the Sphinx is turned into a woman, but yet still a head and a torso. Noticing, check this out, at the dress of the so-called Egyptians. Nothing like they would have you believe. Anyway, look at this. Now it's becoming the idea of a woman. Isn't that interesting? All right. 1665 again, showing you a different rendition or drawing, shows you the Sphinx as being an idea of the more feminine now head dress, yet still being in this case what looks like the European male face. And also then you have the idea of what looks like the city on the cloud, right? Then of course 1698 rolls around and you want to get back to this kind of motif. I like the let's do they had their own little culture going on type idea, and so then we have that in there. Okay. 1724 rolls around. That's your 77 flipped. You have not only the idea of the Sphinx coming in just as being the head on a pike, but you also have the full winged creature idea. So then those combined, hey, no better idea than to combine them. So then later on, you have 1755 rolling around, and you start to then bring in the idea of what you see now as this head in the desert that was buried in time, buried by sand in time, with the other, attractions in the back. And then this is then forward from here, taken out and shown to you as being undug or uncovered. And of course, all that is they're just building it, out of the sandstone. They've decided, hey, we can just make this attraction a little bit bigger. All right. Now it's getting, of course, closer, and you can see that they always make a story about how the nose falls off. The nose falls off because you're trying to mold and shape and hone very soft material. It just gave way and fell off, dude. That's the answer to that question. Yeah, so by 1823, you see that the 14, the double 7, you see that they've gone from the idea of the spiritual into let's putting this into action, having an attraction, changing the design of the head to camouflage the idea that that's the anguished man or the fallen man, the man on the plate, at the mercy of the world. And then the three pyramids, of course, will represent the fallen trinity. You can see what I've done here is I've just aligned up two different angles of the same shot to show you just the depth, that it was just nothing more than dug out of sandstone and created into what appears to your eye as being the shape of a cat. And they just kept adding to it as they uncovered it. That was the construction of it. Do you see what I'm saying? They constructed it as they went. You can see that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and twist the angle of this camera from some other pictures I found so that you can see it blends perfectly into the background. If you were standing there and you lopped the head off, you wouldn't even notice it. You would say that's just part of the hill. It's very hard to see because it is, in fact, part of the hill. It always has been, and it's, man, such a trick. So going back to this, you can see that this is a Masonic story, this 36-year Oxford mathematician, but it's interesting that they put it out because they added the fact that he said it was full of junk and that it had stucco. Now stucco again goes back to the 1700s and the 1800s cathedral buildings with the stucco and that idea. And it also shows that it was just not very well thought of. It was more just as an afterthought because it was soot and blackness. Probably they had from somebody burning fires in there. You know, it was just junk. It's not some revered treasure. All right. So this is then what you see if you're a modern day person walking up to the carnival attraction. You're passing the lion, right? The lie is turned on as you go up to the top. As you quite literally have to huff your way up to get lied to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you can see I've been showing you that this is the 7 code hoax throughout, but I'd like to show you the biggest hoax of all, and the announcement of the hoax is the Bonaparte hoax. So on the 14th of July, the 777 right there, Bonaparte, all right, left Cairo for the pyramids, which are oblong cubes, being that they're six-sided. You can stand flat on top. Therefore, that is a representation of the cube or the 68. Anyways, moving forward, he intended to stay 3 to 4 days, which is again your 7. Of course, he could not go because he had to go off to his hoax war. But then, of course, the other reason that he couldn't go inside and he never went inside was because they didn't exist yet. They were building them. That's the inside joke. Get it? So that would have been in the 1700s, like I was saying, that this construction would have been happening. All right. So I'd like to move forward and then just show you some more just perspective shots. Show you that even those smaller little kind of stair step things are not that, they're just small little things. They could have also been built by these cats for all I know. It doesn't matter. They're gibberish as well. Look at this next picture. You're going to see a truck next to them. They're very small. In fact, they may have just been built with side materials. Regardless, these things have never been proven to be anything more than just an eyesore, quite frankly. And in fact, they've never been proven to be anything more than a physical representation, an idea on the flat plane in a third dimension, a way to tell you a story, if you're willing to see it. All right, that's what that's about. Right. So then you can see the perspective here. You can see that truck, and then it looks like I'm not going to say Budweiser, but looks similar to it, like a concessions truck there. It's just nothing more than a carnival. You can see that this is nothing more than built into the sandstone, or the what's known as the native rock. All right. I'm also going to show you a different angle and then take away the head and show you that it's just you would be hard pressed to say that you're missing it if it went away. All right, and all I'm going to do is just remove the head part, and you're going to see that it's just nothing more than built into the landscape, giving the human animal, and I'm only saying the human animal because that's how these people act. They act like they're brainless. They act like they have no... You act like you don't have to know what's real. You act as if you get to walk through life, and you get to not know what's real, and somebody else is going to do it for you. And this nonsense goes on and on and on. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the head. Big deal. Alright? I'm just trying not to get overworked here. I'm just saying, man. Do you see how easy this is? So they manipulate, man. They manipulate people into believing these mythological stories. Alright? They give you nothing but despair. Alright? Give you nothing but despair. Alright? Oh, by the way, just so you know, Zahi Hawass, that clown, is Nassar, man. I've told you that before. He's the same character. He played Nassar before he played Zahi Hawass. It's always in the family. It's always kept close. This, again, you can tell is just the manufactured head stuck on top of an outcrop of natural stone, and then they decided, hey, you know what? We can expand this thing in the future. And the problem is they got a little bit too big for their britches, because if you look at what they did with the final product, it's too big. The head the head doesn't fit. So my assumption, and this is purely an assumption, is that they messed up a couple times so that the head was getting a little bit too small, and they're like, dude, you gotta really get it right this time. And then the nose fell off, and he's like, all right, just stop. That's it. We're staying with that. That's what we're going with. You know, bring in the tourists, let them in the gate, because it's not getting any better than this.
Yeah, hey there.
Hey, Pop, how you doing?
Yeah, why don't we dig it down and sculpt a cat out of it?
Oh, maybe make a sphinx out of it and make people think that it's a big cat?
Yeah, why don't we do that? We can charge twice as much.
Hey, there you go. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just go ahead and build a cat as we go out of it? And just like it's a big cat box. Yeah. Oh, here's some native folks looking at it from the same exact angle. Do you see the problem there? It's all on the same plane, so I brought these guys on top to the plane for you so you can see that. They just dug into the earth and created a monster out of the natural sandstone.
Yeah, Dave, that's what happened.
Well, thanks, Bonnie. I mean, you see that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they missed it the first time. They were looking in the wrong direction, man. It's to the left, guys.
Yeah, guys, so anyways, thanks for the show.
Hey, Papa, thanks for showing up. What's going on?
Well, yeah, I was just getting about to do a rips.
Okay, I'll join you. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Dave.
So again, beware to not cast your pearls to the swine, because they are undeserving. And also maybe